The state Senate is scheduled to talk about bringing homeowners insurance companies back to the state. This comes after a number of companies have either folded or left the state. Now, the House passed two bills yesterday funding the Insure Louisiana incentive program. Now, this program is designed to lure more insurers to the state, giving you more options and hopefully lower cost. Now, the Senate Finance Committee approved the bills today. Last year, many homeowners were dropped by their insurance companies or their premiums went through the roof. Now, as the legislature works on lowering homeowners insurance costs, eyewitness investigator David Hammer got some exclusive data and found some very big differences in the insurance rates that homeowners pay depending on where they live.
Yeah, look for the QR code on your screen during David's story. You can scan a photo of it with your mobile device. That will pull up an interactive map where you can check out the rates in your zip code and compare them.
Here's our David Hammer investigation, not for sale.
We did a walk-in closet, and then we did...
Darlinda Cook was so proud when she finally became a homeowner in her mid-50s.
This was my dream.
She bought this house in New Orleans East when it was still damaged and rotting from Hurricane Katrina and turned it into this cozy, loving home.
And that's your bedroom, right?
And this is my bedroom.
But now, 3 years into her dream, her homeowner's insurance company, Americas, has folded. Cajun underwriters took over the policy, and Cook's insurance agent told her the premium would go from $2,100 to $6,700 for the same level of coverage.
I can't even put into words how devastating it was.
The agent found Cook a $5,300 premium by slashing her contents coverage, but that still takes her monthly mortgage payment from $800 to more than $1,400.
A $1,400 house note, that is not looking good for me.
Louisiana had back-to-back devastating storm seasons in 2020 and 2021. To protect themselves from multiple disasters like that, insurance companies actually buy insurance themselves. It's called reinsurance, and it's sold by big companies, some with familiar names like Lloyd's of London. But now the cost of that reinsurance has skyrocketed. Some smaller insurers didn't buy enough reinsurance and went belly up. Others left the state. 100,000 Louisiana homeowners couldn't get insurance from a private company last year. They were forced to go instead to the state-run insurer of last resort, Louisiana Citizens.
Ceded premiums written, 124.
Citizens asked Louisiana Insurance Commissioner Jim Donnellan to approve an average rate increase statewide of 63%. And he did because the rates are set by law at 10% higher than the highest private insurance rate in each parish.
And so it varies widely all across the state of Louisiana.
And now we've uncovered evidence that the crisis is hitting homeowners in poorer areas even harder. We got the premiums Louisiana Citizens charged on 19,000 individual homeowner policies last year through a public records request. We looked at only about half the policies, the ones with 2% hurricane deductibles and $2,500 all perils deductibles, and calculated the average premium paid in each zip code for every $1,000 of insurance coverage purchased. And we found major variations across zip codes. For example, the average Citizens policyholder in Darlinda Cook zip code 70127 paid 80% more for every $1,000 of dwelling coverage in 2022 than someone in the Lakeview zip code 70124, where property values are significantly higher. That makes no sense to Cook.
And I'm asking, like, what do you think do you know my address? Do you know where I live? Like, I don't live in Lakeview.
The darker reds on the map are the zip codes paying $24 or more in premiums for every $1,000 in dwelling coverage. That's areas near the coast in Lafourche and Terrebonne parishes, Eastern Plaquemines Parish, and Shell Beach in St. Bernard Parish. But it's also New Orleans East and Kenner and the entire West Bank of Jefferson Parish. $24 per thousand of coverage really adds up. At that rate, a $150,000 house costs $3,600 a year to insure with Citizens, and that's just the dwelling. Garages and other structures cost more. Now, the yellows on the map are zip codes that paid less than $16 per thousand on average last year, including Lakeview, Broadmoor, and much of uptown and downtown New Orleans. And remember, those are Citizens' rates for 2022. When Citizens raised its rates 63% statewide, the average premium in Orleans Parish went up 82%, meaning that $3,600 policy will cost more than $6,500 when it renews in 2023.
Where New Orleans East has seen the most increases, and that is more because due to open winds coming from two different ways to hit them.
Cook's insurance agent, Stephen Lavecchio, shows how insurers use models to determine where the risks of storm damage are higher, where unblocked winds could hit New Orleans East from the lake and the Gulf, for instance.
Closer to the river, we can get much better rate because the wind modeling is not as bad.
But Florida State University professor Charles Nice says the details of the modeling process are kept secret.
It is a forward-looking statistical exercise in how frequent are storms, how bad are they going to be, how much damage, and it's a simulation that runs thousands and thousands of times.
Lavecchio also said insurance companies usually charge more for the first $100,000 of dwelling coverage because that amount is usually enough to repair damage from storms, fires, and other disasters. That means someone with a $400,000 or $500,000 house pays a lower rate to cover most of their home's value than what Cook pays for all $157,000 in dwelling coverage she has. Insurers are not allowed to consider race or income while setting rates, but Nice analyzed Florida data to see if the methods they use have an unintended discriminatory impact.
And the answer is yes. We do find some statistical evidence.
It's yet another obstacle for Cook, but one this grandmother vows to overcome to keep her dream alive.
This is something that I want, that I've always wanted. So I'm not going to just let somebody come in and just sweep it away from me.
David Hammer, Eyewitness News.
Again, you can check out David's story on WWLTV.com and use the interactive map to see the insurance rates in your zip code and compare them with other areas of Louisiana. Tomorrow night at 10 in part 2 of Not for Sale, David looks at how state leaders are trying to lower those rates and why some think they're missing the mark.